Alright, so we're going to make one last step here, and we're going to do a variant of this that will be, instead of doing whack-a-mole, it'll be the Simon game. So, you know, you like press the buttons in order, and you try to remember the order, stuff like that. And so we're going to make a new function here called Simon game, okay? And we're going to go ahead and we're going to implement our game here. So we can come down to our game loop, and we can call Simon game there instead, okay? So for now, we'll just return, okay? And so for this one, it's a little bit of a different game. So the first thing that we want to do is we're gonna run a sequence, right? And so in Simon, there's a random sequence of lights that comes on. So we're gonna grab that sequence, okay? And the next thing what we're gonna do is we're going to actually this should be in a loop, right? So we're gonna say while true. Now we're gonna have our sequence. No, our sequence should be down here actually. So we want to define our sequence first, and then we start our loop here, and we'll have a round counter too. So we'll start around 0. We'll say round plus equal 1. Okay, and then we're gonna pick a random LED. So we're gonna get index is gonna be equal to rand int 0 to 3. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is our sequence is our list of LEDs, and we're going to do this operation called append. And what happens here is we're going to add that to the end of our list. Okay? And so for now, we're just going to run that, and we're going to print our sequence. Okay, and see what happens. We'll add a sleep here, like 1 second, so it doesn't spam. And then we'll say if round is greater than 10, we're going to break. I forgot to put an if there. Okay, and so we're going to now save that and run that. And so you can see down here that every time our list is getting longer and longer. And so that's the way the Simon game works. We keep expanding that list as we continue to remember the pattern. Okay, and so we're off to a good start here. We have this process of picking a random item, and then what we're going to do is we're going to play our pattern now. And so we're going to say for index in sequence print index. So now we're going to loop through it and print it out. And so instead of printing the sequence, we're going to print those numbers. Actually, I'm not going to print it yet, but basically what's going to happen is the first, we'll print it so we can see it. Now it's going to, it's kind of hard to follow, but basically each time the list, it's printing more and more values. So not the most easy thing to read, but that's what's going on there. And so now what we want to do is, we actually want to use that to play our sequence, okay? And we're going to do, so we'll say, let's make a function here called maybe let's call it show step. What we're going to do here is we're going to run a step in our sequence, and we gotta it's a function, so we're gonna put def there, and we're gonna pass in the index. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll show step. Okay, the way this is gonna work is we're going to turn on that LED. and we're going to do a beep. We'll say Simon beep. And we'll do LEDs dot or index dot off. Okay. And let's see. We'll add like a short sleep here. We'll go sleep, maybe like a quarter second, 0.25, and we'll do it again right here. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this print statement and the sleep statement. We'll keep that sleep right there. Okay, so now you run it, and for 10 rounds you're gonna get a sequence of LEDs. Well, that's up. Oh, didn't like that. We got to define our Simon beep, and we got to pass index to it. And so let's make that function here. So we're going to make this function def Simon beep. We're going to grab that index. Okay. And then I'm going to let you guys do this. So I'm just going to put pass right here. And we're going to have a comment explaining what we got to do here. To do. Make different beep sound for each color. I.e. each color a different frequency. Okay, and so if you're having trouble with that, you're going to do an if. So if index is equal to 0, you're going to do one thing. So you do something there, and then you'll do a elif. No, it's auto typing. Index equal to 1, you do something else, okay, and so on. And so we're going to do that, you know, and you'll have handle all 4 cases. And I think for the Simon game, let me look it up. Simon game frequencies. This is maybe what the actual game used. This is what at least the AI search compilation on Google told me, is that in the actual Simon game, this is the frequencies. And so you can implement those. And then you also make a function called, you know, play def play lose sound, and then you'll implement that too. Okay, so I went ahead and put my sounds in, and so I'm going to run it, and we'll have it print the sequence here actually for each round. And then it's playing in the background, so I'm going to, maybe you'll be able to hear it on the speaker, but it's beeping. And so now the first one beeped, and now the first and third and fourth one beeped, and then it was 0, 4, 3, or 0, 3, 2. And then the next step will be now to make it so the user has to replicate that pattern. Okay? And then what we're going to do now is we're going to say for index in sequence. Let me stop mine here first.